After a training that shattered every limit, Goku now faces the impossible, over 1,000 gods of destruction charging at him all at once, ready to finish him off. What could have led to such an insane battle? And how can anyone survive this? Stick with me until the end, because you won't believe what's coming next.
Hakai.
The sun shone brightly over Capsule Corporation, lighting up the luxurious hall Mr. Satan had built for Pan's 15th birthday. Laughter, music, and tables filled with food filled the air. Yet, the birthday girl, dressed in sky blue, stood alone by the window, her gaze distant. Gohan approached with a gentle smile, but before he could say anything, Pan quietly and sadly remarked that her grandfather hadn't come again, reminding him that it had already been 5 years since he left for Beerus' planet and never returned. The way she said it made Gohan lower his eyes, feeling the weight of his father's absence as well. Bulma, who overheard the conversation, sighed as she remembered that Vegeta had vanished along with Goku, and not even Shinron, Zuno, or any search across the universe had brought answers. It was as if they had disappeared forever. For a few moments, the party lost its sparkle, and the absence of the two lingered over everyone like a weight impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, billions of light years away on Beerus' planet, the usual silence seemed to have been replaced by a strange vibration, as if the very air could sense that something important was about to happen. Beerus and Whis walked through the endless corridors of the floating castle, the echo of each step spreading into the emptiness. The god of destruction was restless, his pointed ears twitching at the slightest sound, while Whis, in contrast, kept his usual serene expression, his staff glowing faintly as it guided him down a path that few in the universe knew. They stopped before what appeared to be an ordinary wall, no doors, no symbols, nothing to hint at what lay beyond. But Whis knew exactly what to do. With a gentle tap of his staff, the solid surface rippled as if it were made of water and opened, revealing a passage to a hidden dimension within the castle itself. The space ahead was infinite and empty, without furniture or decoration, just a soft light that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Beerus looked up, and there they were, floating, motionless, as if gravity were only a suggestion. Goku and Vegeta sat in deep meditation, long, unkempt beards covering part of their faces, giving them the appearance of ancient masters forgotten by time. Their eyes were closed, their bodies still, and their aura so subtle it almost blended with the air around them. With a tone less arrogant than usual, Beerus asked Whis if he was certain it was time to wake them. Whis only answered with an enigmatic smile, saying yes, the training was complete and they needed to return. The universe would not wait forever, not even for those who defy time itself. As if responding to the call, Goku and Vegeta opened their eyes at the exact same moment. There was no slow transition. One instant they were in a trance, the next, fully alert, their piercing gazes fixed on Beerus and Whis. The energy radiating from them was not just raw strength, but refined power, perfectly controlled, as if every cell had been shaped to reach its absolute peak. They descended slowly, landing before Whis. The contrast between their rugged appearance and the precision of their movements was almost surreal. Vegeta, his voice deeper from decades of silence, remarked that it was strange to see them again after 50 years. Whis calmly explained that, for the universe, only 5 years had passed, as time in that dimension flowed differently, something necessary for the training they endured. Goku, ever curious, brightened at the thought that for Chi-Chi and the others, it had only been 5 years, recalling that the last time he was gone too long, he nearly got scolded the moment he returned. Vegeta rolled his eyes but couldn't hide his relief. 5 years away from Bulma and Trunks was far more bearable than 5 decades. Beerus wasn't interested in small talk. His eyes narrowed as a purple aura burst around him, making the air vibrate. He declared that he wanted to see if all that time away from Earth had been worth it, and warned that he would be very irritated if it had only been a vacation. Goku and Vegeta exchanged a silent look of understanding, the kind of communication only two warriors with decades of rivalry and shared battles could have. Vegeta smirked and asked if Goku wanted to handle it, as if facing a god of destruction was nothing more than a warm-up. Goku calmly replied that it wouldn't take long, his confident tone making Beerus frown. Then, to everyone's surprise, Vegeta raised a finger and materialized an energy collar that snapped around Goku's neck. He explained that it would prevent any transformations, making the challenge more interesting. Goku laughed, saying he could remove the collar, but it would take him longer to do that than to defeat Beerus, so he decided to keep it. Whis, genuinely surprised, realized that their confidence wasn't just bravado, there was something different about them, something beyond a mere increase in power, as if they had finally understood what he had been trying to teach all along. Vegeta asked Whis to create a timer, and the angel obliged with an elegant wave of his staff, materializing a floating clock of bright blue numbers in the air to mark the start of the battle. When the timer began to tick, Beerus' expression changed instantly. The irritation at the apparent arrogance of those two mortals reached its peak, and his energy erupted around him like a violent storm. With a roar that shook the very walls of the dimension, the god of destruction activated one of his most powerful techniques. Beerus' body began to multiply first into 2, then 4, 8, 16, and continued until the entire room was filled with identical copies. Each one had the same fierce stare, the same threatening posture, and the same destructive aura. Whis watched closely and remarked that Beerus had already started by using his best technique, explaining that multiplication allowed the user to create several clones without losing any power, something only a handful in the universe could master. Goku glanced quickly in all directions and said he had counted 12,000 clones, mixing seriousness with excitement at facing such an absurd challenge. Vegeta cut in, correcting him irritably that there were 12,002, calling Goku an imprecise insect. Goku blinked a few times, realized his mistake, and complained that Vegeta shouldn't distract him during the fight. But the prince replied that he couldn't stay quiet after such a wrong count, as if that were more important than the battle itself. Beerus, ignored by the two, felt his blood boil. How dared they bicker, as if he wasn't even worthy of their attention. With a furious shout, he ordered all thousands of clones to rush at Goku at once. But before any of them got within 3 meters, they all suddenly exploded. It wasn't a violent detonation, but rather as if each clone had been disintegrated down to the molecular level, turning into particles of light that faded into the air. The only one left was the original body, and Beerus fell to the ground with an expression of absolute shock. His eyes, usually narrow and calculating, were now wide in pure surprise, and perhaps for the first time tinged with genuine fear. Vegeta asked Whis how much time had passed, as if only mildly curious. Whis answered 8 seconds, his voice carrying a faint tremor. Vegeta then teased that he had expected more from Goku, and Goku pouted, saying it would have been better if Vegeta hadn't ruined his focus, briefly slipping back into his usual carefree manner despite the long beard and transcendental aura. Whis tapped his staff on the floor, the sound echoing like a bell. He declared that the training had been a success and that they were ready for the tournament. Beerus, still processing what had happened, slowly got back to his feet. His pride was wounded, but there was satisfaction in his eyes as he admitted that they had finally surpassed the level of mortals. He then said they needed to hurry to Earth because he was dying to eat its food again. The mention of food made Goku's stomach growl loudly, reminding everyone that some things never change. Whis commented that they should hurry, since there was a birthday party full of delicious dishes happening right now. Vegeta asked whose party it was, trying to sound disinterested, but failing to hide his curiosity. Whis explained that it was for Goku's granddaughter, Pan, who was turning 15 that day, and he added that Bulma was also there. At that moment, something shifted in the eyes of the two Saiyans. All the calm, all the divine power, and all the experience gained in 50 subjective years of training gave way to something far more human longing. Goku murmured, his voice thick with emotion, that Pan was already 15 and that the last time he saw her, she had only just taken her first steps in martial arts training. Vegeta remained silent, but his gaze drifted as if he could see Bulma's face after so many years. 50 years for him, 5 for her, and the question of what that reunion would be like hung in the air. The room fell into silence for a few seconds, heavy and full of meaning. Then, as if waking at the same time, Goku and Vegeta turned to Whis with renewed determination. Goku said it was time to go home, and in those words, there was an entire universe of meaning. With 50 years of training compressed into just 5 for the rest of the universe, Goku and Vegeta returned to Earth carrying a power no god would dare to even imagine. But the party waiting for them is only the beginning, because on the horizon looms a tournament capable of gathering forces that could rival even them. And when these two reveal what they've become, nothing and no one will come out unscathed. If you want to see it all in the next episode, make sure to leave your like, and if you want to watch another insane story like this one, just click on one of the videos that will pop up on your screen. See you next time, I'm out.